Okay, the goal of this activity is for you to be able to write a quadratic equation when what you're given are roots. Remember that when they give you roots, these represent the x-intercepts, what x is equal to when they cross the x-axis. So if I know that I have a -1 and -10, then this is the way I'm going to write it. My roots will be x equals -1 and x equals -10. What I then want to do is take my roots and I want to put everything on one side, so I have x equals -1. And to put everything on one side, I want to do that because then I will have the roots written as linear factors. So to do that, I'm going to add 1 to this side, but what I do to one, I do to the other. And so I end up with x plus 1 equals 0. And that's how you have this step right here in the example. Same thing over here. Add 10 to both sides, and I end up with x plus 10 equals 0. So what these are called are linear factors. Okay, and so now what I'm going to do is I take my linear factors, and remember that your factors, the way we did this is when we were looking at polynomials and we were multiplying, if I have factors which are x and plus 1, so I could put an x here, 1 here, and x plus 10, so x here and 10 here, what I could do is use that box method or the distributive property, and I can fill this in. So I would get x squared plus 10x plus 1x plus 10, and combine all the like terms. So what I get is x squared, here's my 10x, my 1x from those two boxes, and then plus 10 equals 0. When I combine like terms, these two will make your 11x. And so now I end up with x squared plus 11x plus 10 equals 0. And so now you've taken the roots that were given to you, you've written them as in linear factor form. You take those two linear factors and you multiply them, and then you get your quadratic formula or quadratic equation, and you simplify it, and this is your quadratic function. So now let's go ahead and try number 1. So to complete number 1, I need to write down the roots, x equals 10 and x equals -1. Now those are what the roots are. I need to write the roots as linear factors, so I'm going to subtract 10 and subtract 10 here, and that gives me x minus 10 is equal to 0. I'm going to add 1 here, and that gives me another linear factor of x plus 1 equals 0. Now that I have the two linear factors, I want to multiply those two together. So x minus 10 times x plus 1 equals 0. Remember, my goal is to write a quadratic function when all I've been given are the roots. You can either use the box method or you can use the distributive method, and I'll let you choose. I'm going to go ahead and write x and -10 here because of x minus 10, x and 1 here. So I get x squared because x times x is x squared. Here I get -10x, 1x, and -10. So when I add those up, I get x squared plus 1x minus 10x minus 10 equals 0. And now we're going to simplify, which gives me x squared minus 9x minus 10 equals 0. Okay, now you can finish the other problems on your own.